Okay, so the point of this video is to show you how we can run functions inside of functions and how we trace that. Um, and the first thing I want to point out, we've got two functions here. One's called sum of three, which we've seen before in class. It just adds up three things. And the second is sum of six, which it's going to turn out is going to add up all six things that are the arguments, and it's going to add them up by using sum of three to add up the first three and then the second three. So let's trace this and see what happens. Okay, so suppose we run sum of 6 on 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 9. All right, well, how do we trace this? We do exactly what we always do. Make a new piece of scrap paper. Write the name sum of 6 up at the top. Now we're going to look at the definition of sum of 6 and say what are the names of the boxes we need. And we're going to write those boxes from left to right. So we need a box A through F. And we're going to put them in here left to right. So we've got A, B, C, D, E, F. I really should be writing them left to right, but I don't have enough screen space, so I'm just going to remember that A, B, C were 1, 2, and 3, and D, E, F are the next three. Okay, so now these are the formal parameters, the formal names of those variables. Now we got to look at the actual values that are going in there. The first one goes in A, the second one goes in B, and so on. So first in the first box we get a 1, then into the B box we get a 2, C gets our 4, and so on. So D's getting the 5, E the 6, and F the 9. Great, we are now ready to start running the sum of 6 function. We look at it. It says, first half gets sum of 3 on ABC. So assignment statement, evaluate the right-hand side, put it in the left. Looks like we have to run another function. So we're going to run sum of 3. How do we run sum of 3? Well, the same trace we always do. We're going to make a new piece of scrap paper. We're going to write sum of 3 at the top. We're going to look at the definition of sum of 3 and say, what are the formal names of the boxes that we're going to put in there? 1, 2, 3. So we'll make a box for 1, 2, and 3. What goes in there? Well, let's see. We were in here, and the actual values were A from sum of 6, B from sum of 6, and C from sum of 6. So that means we're going to put a 1, a 2, and a 4 down in here. Okay, great. Now we're ready to run sum of 3 function, and sum of 6 is just hanging out waiting until we're done this one. You're always running and working on the most recent piece of scrap paper. So here's sum of 3. It says total gets 1 plus 2 plus 3. Evaluate the right-hand side, put it in the left. 1 plus 2 plus 3, well, that would be 1 plus 2, and actually there's a 4 here, so 4, 5, 6, 7. And we need to put that into total. There's no box called total, so we make a new box called total. It's an int, we put 7 in there. Next line of code says return total. So we do this bubble thing. We're now done the function, so we cross out the function. We go back to where we called the function from, which in this case is not the command window, but it's this line right here. And we say, do we do anything with that? Yeah, put it into first half, right? Evaluate the right-hand side. We did it. It turned into this bubble 7. We're going to put it into first half. Where? Inside a sum of 6. Where are we? In sum of 6. So we're going to make a new box called first half. It gets that 7. And then, of course, we only had the 7 there for a second, and then the bubble goes away. So we're now done this first line in sum of 6. We're ready to move on to the next line in sum of 6. Okay? So what is this? Another assignment statement. Evaluate the right-hand side, put it in the left. So let's see. We're going to run sum of 3 on D, E, and F. Okay, so we got to run the sum of 3 function, which means making another piece of scrap paper, write sum of 3 up at the top. We got to look at the definition of sum of 3 to say what are the formal names of the boxes we're going to put in there. They're 1, 2, and 3, so we make a box for 1, 2, and 3. What are the actual values we put into 1, 2, 3? Well, we have to look where was sum of 3 called from. It was called from in here. And it says we use D, E, and F. Okay, that's D, E, and F in sum of 6, so we're going to be copying the 5, 6, and 9 in that order into these boxes. So there we go. Perfect. Now we're ready to run sum of 3 and sum of 6. This function up here just has to wait. We have to wait because we're doing this, right? We're running sum of 3. So total gets 1 plus 2 plus 3. Evaluate the right-hand side, put it in the left. So 1 plus 2 plus 3, well, in this case, we've got 6 and 5 is 11 plus 9 is 20. That's going to go into total. We don't have any total box here, right? So we need a new one, and we put 20 in it. Next line of code says return total. So we get our little bubble. We're done the function. Whenever you have a return, that's it. You're done. So we cross out the function. We say, do we drop this on the floor or do we use it? Let's see. We were in sum of 6. We know that because that's our piece of scrap paper. That's the most recent piece of scrap paper that's not crossed out. And we were here, and we know that because we remember. Evaluate. We evaluated. It turned out to be 20. Like the bubble says, put it into second half. No box is called second half. Got to make a box. Put 20 in there, and then the bubble's gone. Okay. So we just did these lines. Now we're onto this line of code. Total gets first half plus second half. Okay, evaluate the right-hand side. 7 plus 20 is 27. Put it into total. Do I have a total box on this scrap paper? No way. I had them on my others, but those are crossed out. I'm using only this scrap paper. There's my total. It's got 27 in it. Next line, print sum of 6 is total. All right. So sum of 6 is 27. And now we're done this function, right? So we cross it out. And we're done. There you go. We did it. And we actually added up all these numbers. Cool.